these situations. So I'm pleased with him, and I think he's ready, and he comes from a good football stock down there at Dwyer. Coach Jack Daniels does a great job down there. He knows how to play.
Any questions? Dave?
The obvious one is quarterback, but are there any other positions that still have to sort themselves out?
There's a handful of them, you know. For me, it's a matter of if we can't make a good decision at a lot of the different positions, let's play them both, and let's get the rotation. Like I've mentioned before, you know, especially in the defensive side of the ball, you know, you got 11 positions, but you'd love to play 17, 18 kids in a game, and in the fourth quarter, you know, you're a little bit fresher. So, at some positions we'll have that luxury, at other positions we're going to have to really take a look at, you know, the best man in and the best situations.
Scott, what did Chuck do as a previous stop to impress you that you brought him here? And what is unique about him as a defensive coordinator than maybe other coaches?
Well, you know, me and Chuck, Chuck and I were at Western Michigan together, and really after the first 3 or 4 days together, we just were like brothers. Like brothers. He's a coach's son, as am I. And we just saw eye to eye on how you develop players and kids, and we also have the same philosophical viewpoints of defense, the style of defense that we should be playing, especially at the collegiate level. So I didn't know if we'd ever have a shot to coach again together. It's just one of those deals. And the opportunity presented itself, and it was like it took me so long to call.
I know you've talked about it before, but being the son of a coach, how does that influence him, and maybe in what ways can you see that shine through?
I think it's a difficult. It'd be like trying to explain to somebody that never played football what it's like to play football, or trying to explain to a man what it's like to get burned, in my opinion. And being a coach's son, it's different. I mean, hiding underneath the card table, watching the 16mm go frontwards and backwards, and click, as a kid. That's how I used to fall asleep at night. That's how he used to fall asleep. People say cut-ups. You young guys think of cut-ups as something the computer does for it. Cut-ups were my dad, Chuck's dad, in different places coaching, cutting the 16mm, hanging them up, and that was a good play right there. And finding the next good play that was the same formation, and then you put them on this little thing and took the 2 cut-ups and put them together with this little piece of tape and wound it. As kids, we loved that, man. You know what I mean? And those are the things Chuck and I talked about. It's like, it's just pretty cool. Our professions are great. Sometimes it's hard, and a lot of hours and all that. But we always talk about, you believe we're getting paid to do this. You know what I mean? And those are some of the things that, make you appreciate another coach's son.
Scott, I know you mentioned a couple of times that looking for the wide receivers to step up a little bit. How much do you think their adjustment is to, getting used to Georgia's style, getting used to the new offense, and do you see that progressing as we get closer?
Yeah, I see it progressing. It's just one of those things that has to be consistency. I think we got a good group of kids that have enough ability to win some games. I don't think we have any singular player that you say he's an all-American fan. I think it's going to be one of those deals again where we have to say there's strength in numbers, and do a good job saying this guy's good at these types of concepts, another guy's good at these types of concepts, and then package them together when you get into a game. But kids have been working hard. I thought they had yesterday. We had a pass skilling situation with we had 20. I think it was 24 plays. We completed 23 to 24 throws. So I was happy with it. That's with the ones and the twos, and that's with the 1, 2 wide receivers, tight ends, and whatnot. So I think it's a mindset. Strength in numbers, and we have to be consistent with our play and playing a lot of things.
Scott, as we get closer to the Saturday, have you thought at all about how involved or not involved you want to be in the play calling for both George and Chuck?
Yeah, I won't be involved in the play calling. I know when I was a coordinator, I did not care when coaches that micromanaged. It's like we have all kinds of different scientists, and some guys are going to study one particular thing and be great at it. And for somebody that's a general guy to come in and micromanage, I don't believe in that. Hire those guys who are extremely talented and let them do their job. I'm second guessing their game at all. Come back after baseball, everybody talks about the middle infield and how important it is. The same thing with football. You know, you look at the center position on offense and obviously the quarterback. You look at the middle linebacker position on defense and the safeties. And those core guys in the middle of the offense and defense are really important. When you have guys that have had a lot of football underneath their belt, and they can speak to the guys to the right and to the left, it goes a long way. So I think we have a luxury in Mackey getting people lined up, and there's a sense of calm as a quarterback. I know when I was playing, I had an older center playing with me too when I first got in, and Scott Wilson, and I felt comfortable when I was playing with him because it was like, hey, I'm with him, you know, this guy knows what he's doing. So I think there's definitely an advantage to having people in the middle of both sides. Your voice is not beating that Bernie Bus. Go ahead again.
Thank you. Talking to the linebackers, they said they looked up to guys like Doug Hogan and Darrell Smith. And now that they're here, they kind of knew a couple years ago they wanted to be as good as those guys, if not better. They think they can be better this year. How do you see this group of linebackers stack up to them and even other Syracuse backers you've seen in the past?
Yeah, I mean, there's a high bar to be set. I mean, you look about the legends of the game here at Syracuse that have played linebacker, you know, thinking back to all the great ones. I mean, Danny Conley, what an unbelievable football player he was. And then you go all the way forward to the Doug Hogues and the Darrell Smiths. We've had so many good ones, you know, so the bar is high. And I love the fact that Marquise and Dyshon especially, they want to be like those guys. And when we recruited them, that's what we told them. We said, hey, look, these guys are going to be gone here in another year. We need some guys to replace them, you know. And the thing I liked about those guys is they didn't want their jersey numbers. They wanted their own jersey numbers, you know. And that's a competitive side of things that I like too. They're really good kids. They want to be great. Now they got to go put it on tape and see what they can do.
Nate, the mock game in the Dome today, was that as much of a trial for the coaching staff to get down their communication with each other and how that go?
Yeah, it sure was. You know, I think anytime you have a new staff, even though most of us have worked together, you know, you also have younger guys that are providing a ton of information. You know, they're providing intel throughout the course of the game. And to speak to those kids and to see how they speak, especially with some of them, you know, not being on the headsets a bunch as younger coaches that are in development, but they're essential. You know, a guy in the press box that's looking over for personnel, it's essential that they do a good job. They accentuate their speech throughout the course of the game, and they're not afraid to talk to the coordinator and say, no, it's this personnel coach, and that'll save a call or two in the game, and it'll be big. So I think to be able to mesh all the personalities and the voices in a mock game is essential for the coaching staff.
Coach, at what point do you make that transition from preseason camp to then actually preparing for a game against Penn State?
Yep, I think it's different with every team. I think because we've lost some record holders, you know, and Ryan Nassib and our passing game with Alec Lemon and two guys that protected him so he can get it down the field. I think personally I wanted to start earlier this year on our first opponent. In years past, sometimes you waited until the week before. So we got started on these guys a few days ago. You know, we kind of sprinkled it in a little bit here, a little bit there. We didn't even really pronounce to the kids that it was Penn State as much as, hey, we're going to go against the scout team and start learning how to run cards. And it just happened to be some of the things that Penn State does. And then as we get through here on Friday and into Saturday's practice, we want to come back Sunday. We'll have a big kicking practice, but we'll also unveil the full scouting report. The numbers, the tendencies, which really you got to be careful, you know, because every year you don't know what that other team is going to be, and so you want to be careful when you go into the first game with your game plans, in my opinion. But we started a little bit earlier than years past.
Final question from Michael.
Have there been any developments in the kick return or punt return races that you might be able to share with us at this point?
I just think that we have some good guys that can provide us with some productivity back there. So, you know, we have some, you know, when you're deep at tailback, you're deep at kick return. And that's my philosophy on it. I do believe in tailbacks carrying the ball and kick return more than wideouts. In my opinion, they're used to getting hit. They're used to hitting it up in there fast. And then with the punt returners, you know, Richie, the one thing about Richie Desir is he's extremely reliable. He'll catch him in a crowd. He's a tough Haitian kid from Miami. You know, nothing phases him, you know. I think the first goal on a punt return is to catch it, not let it roll backwards and get the ball back to the offense. And the second most important thing is to see if we can get a few yards. You like a dynamic guy and stuff, but if he can't catch it as well as the next guy, then I'd rather possess the ball. You know, have that mindset first and foremost.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay.